News at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for Louisiana First News. I'm Deshaun Johnson. Andrew and Christina have the evening off. Now that the area is thawing out after the historic winter storm, Baton Rouge leaders want to determine the future needs for the community if this type of weather event happens again. Louisiana First News' Anna Conejo has the details.
The Emergency Operations Center will be deactivating this afternoon after 5 days of 24-hour coverage from 15 city parish departments.
Mayor President Sid Edwards and city parish leaders give an update on the aftermath of a historic winter storm that hit the area on Tuesday.
In South Louisiana, we're sort of used to hurricanes and other, flooding and all that. But this was something new. So this was an opponent that a lot of our folks here had never seen.
An unusual event where the safety of residents has been a top priority.
We're very happy everyone was safe and we didn't have any fatalities.
It was a team effort.
In regards to challenges faced, Director of the Mayor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, Clay Reeves, says no tools was one of those challenges.
The state did bring in some equipment from Arkansas and brought it down to South Louisiana, so we were able to utilize some of the equipment that's specialized to move snow. Now, we were using like bucket trucks and stuff like that.
Edwards says as they learn about future needs after the snowstorm, warming centers and shelters is something the parish plans to work on.
We felt a need for more space, more places. So it was in 18 hours, we got 4 other shelters and 2 other warming stations up and running successfully. But I want to talk to those folks, our council people who sacrificed and manned it. I want to talk to them to see what can we do better in those places.
Overall, as everything gets back to normal, Edwards thanks the unity of the community. For Louisiana First News, I'm Ana Conejo.
And experts say the recent freezing temperatures could have a big impact on Louisiana's crawfish population and the industry as a whole. The crawfish ponds experienced ice, leading to the water reaching low temperatures. As a result, experts say this slows down the growth of the Louisiana staple, delaying its harvest. Crawfish farms are now recovering, and one specialist says this could affect consumers in weeks to come.
When there's a short supply, the price is going to be higher. And as the supply increases on into the spring, the price will come down. So, but that's almost a day-to-day and week-to-week type of thing.
Crawfish farmers remain optimistic. A mild stretch of weather could turn things around, but for now, it's a waiting game. And while many roadways have reopened following the freezing weather, a handful of ramps and exits in New Orleans remain closed. Reporter Rick Gogrieve has more.
It was a successful day for the DOTD as it announced that all of Louisiana interstates have reopened. However, prior to this news, many people were already hitting the roads, causing heavy gridlock.
There was all that gridlock traffic, so I'm assuming everybody is happy that now it's going to be open for them to come and go. So as DOTD has been working and trying to get these open, we have been staged, ready to assist as needed.
While these interstates have reopened, several on-ramps such as off Camp, O'Keefe, and Earhart were closed throughout the day. However, most of the exits are open.
And so that was helping to divert some more traffic and bleed them off into the city.
The LSP warns people, though, that just because these interstates and highways are reopened does not mean you should drive as if the roads are in perfect condition.
Now everybody's so antsy that we don't want people to be driving as fast as they can to get somewhere, because then they'll get in a crash and it'll be shut right back down.
That was Rick Gogrieve reporting. The Louisiana Department of Health is confirming 2 winter weather-related deaths in Pointe-Coupee and Orleans parishes. The Pointe-Coupee parish death was an 85-year-old man in which hypothermia was a contributing factor. The Orleans parish death was a 60-year-old woman and was attributed to a fire caused by a space heater. And earlier this evening in St. George, fire officials reporting to work on a structure fire right here on your screen. Officials say it happened around 6:30 p.m. at a home on General Jackson Avenue near the corner of Pascagoula Drive. No word on how the fire started and no injuries have been reported at this time. And here in the capital city, we continue thawing out from our record-breaking snowfall, but many people are taking the chance to get outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. Tennis players from our area, as well as Lafayette and Lake Charles, are participating in the Bellas Open tournament at the LSU tennis facility, benefiting children's cancer research. Baton Rouge native and Bella Bowman Foundation founder Kim Bowman says it's a labor of love putting on the tournament in memory of her daughter, who died at age 7 from brain cancer.
Baton Rouge has an amazing tennis community and they're very supportive, and so we have over 400 players that signed up to play. We are sold out. We sold out in some levels in actual minutes when the link went live.
Bowman says 100% of the proceeds from this weekend's tournament will go to her foundation, providing research and support for families going through similar health journeys. And early voting for a special primary election in the state is approaching. Those dates are February 1st through the 8th. Election day is set for February 15th for a state senator in the 14th District and 23rd District. You might recall the 14th District seat was left vacant when Senator Cleo Fields was elected to Congress. You can always vote on Election Day 2, February 15th. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. The newly formed city of St. George will also choose some city leaders. That election day is March 29th. And aid from Louisiana residents is reaching Californians who lost everything in the deadly wildfires that swept through the state. 1,000 boxes of donated clothing collected by Cotton Clothing reached Los Angeles yesterday to help out the thousands of people who lost everything to the flames. Other aid is on the way. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a relief package to spend $2.5 billion to help LA recover. And today, President Trump touring areas in Los Angeles devastated by wildfires after visiting a North Carolina neighborhood destroyed by Hurricane Helene, where he blasted FEMA's response and suggested closing down the agency. NBC's Peter Alexander has the story.
President Trump today touring damage and hearing from displaced residents in parts of North Carolina ravaged by Hurricane Helene 4 months ago.
I totally feel like that we have been forgotten.
The president, alongside the First Lady, again complaining that FEMA's response has been too slow.
Unfortunately, our government failed you, but it wasn't the Trump government. It was a government run by Biden.
And floating a potentially dramatic move, eliminating FEMA entirely.
I think, frankly, FEMA's not good. FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
Instead, proposing the White House send disaster relief directly to states and give governors more control. But a president does not have the power to shut down FEMA and would need Congress to give him the authority to remake or get rid of any agency. FEMA's defenders argue the federal government supports states and has a breadth of expertise and resources to respond that most states do not have. A top Democrat tonight panning the proposal.
I mean, if there's one reason we're one nation under God, it's to deal with disasters. So no, we shouldn't get rid of them.
Meanwhile, the president just landing in L.A. to visit the wildfire zone there, greeted by Governor Gavin Newsom on the tarmac, after repeatedly attacking California's Democratic leaders over the state's response to the disaster, and hours after detailing a pair of demands before he will offer more federal aid to the state.
I want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
Newsom's office says other states don't require voter ID, and California pumps as much water now as it could under Trump's first-term policies, writing conditioning aid for American citizens is wrong. All of it with a final Senate confirmation vote expected tonight on Pentagon pick Pete Hegseth. Earlier, an NBC News review of records from Hegseth's divorce from his second wife, Samantha, includes a court-ordered agreement precluding either of them from saying anything publicly that would disparage the other. Since her ex-husband's nomination, Samantha has commented publicly about him only once, in response to a request from NBC News for comment on an affidavit by his former sister-in-law, Danielle Hegseth. Samantha told NBC News, "There was no physical abuse in my marriage."
Well, Sam, I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm not a fan of these cold temperatures, but I see that we're creeping back up a little bit.
That's exactly right. We are definitely heading in the right direction as far as normal temperatures around here, whatever normal is here in Louisiana, right? We're looking at warmer temperatures for the weekend, but tonight we have one more cold night especially with lows dropping below freezing once again. And we're looking at a day planner forecast looking like this: 26 at 6 a.m., 41 at 10, 56 by 2 o'clock. So we are going to climb into the 50s. So here's your weather headlines. Another cold night tonight with temperatures around 26, warmer for your Saturday, and a wet week ahead. And I'll tell you more about that when we return.
Now, your Storm Tracker team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Sam Parrish.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we've seen a lot of melting today with the sunshine and the warmer temperatures, and that's going to continue right on through the weekend. Although right now we're now below freezing at 31 degrees. The dew point's 24, so that gives us a little bit more room to go for the overnight low. It feels like 28 out there because of a light northeasterly wind at 3 miles an hour. Across the region, a lot of places are at freezing or below, like Macomb with 29, 30 in Kentwood, Hammond, also Liberty, 32 in New Roads, and Woodville, 31 here in Baton Rouge, but a little bit warmer down to the south where Morgan City is checking in with 45. Wind speeds are generally around 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the east, and so that's giving us a little bit of a wind chill right now, generally in the 20s and lower 30s. But as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, we're going to see these wind chills dropping down into the lower 20s. So if you're out and about early tomorrow morning, definitely going to need that jacket. But you should shed that jacket by around lunchtime, as temperatures are going to be climbing rapidly up through the 40s and into the 50s by afternoon. Lots of sunshine, not only for the boot, but also the southern plains all across the southeast today. That big snowstorm is now a distant memory, causing problems from the UK and Ireland with some extremely strong winds earlier today, but that system is now starting to peter out a little bit over the North Atlantic. Now our attention is going to turn back to the west with another storm system that's going to be diving down across the western coast as we go through the weekend. And this upper level storm system is going to take its slow, sweet time as it develops and grows out to our west. Going to probably cause some landslide and mudslide problems for Southern California with all the fire situation, but at least they're getting some rainfall. And then the system is slowly going to move into the southern Rockies as we go into Tuesday. And then by the time Wednesday rolls around, we're going to start to see some moisture moving up our way and also lots of energy associated with this upper level low. And when this system does fully pull out into our area, we could be looking at a threat of some severe weather late next week. In the meantime, we still have to deal with winter with temperatures in the 20s and 30s tonight. But then tomorrow afternoon, southeasterly winds, temperatures rising into the 50s, even perhaps touching 60. And then the clouds start to roll in Sunday, morning with lows in the 40s, so it'll be much milder with a few sprinkles. And then as we go through Sunday afternoon, a few scattered showers up to the north and west with highs in the mid to upper 60s, maybe even touching 70. I think we may have to wait till Tuesday before we get to 70. Monday, some morning showers especially. And then as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures in the 70s and isolated showers. And then here comes that big storm system on the west coast starting to make its presence known on Friday, and that would likely continue into next weekend as well with some heavy thunderstorms, and again, some of those might be heavy or even severe. All right, that's a look at the forecast. Let's go back to the news desk with Deshaun and more of today's news.
All right, thank you, Sam. Still ahead, we learn about the artist behind the tiling inside the St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans. Meet Eugene Warburg next.
You're watching Louisiana First News at 10 with Christina Jensen, Andrew Epperson. Weather with Chief Meteorologist Sam Parrish. And Go Nation Sports with Sports Director Brian Holland.
Well, tonight we have a tribute to local Black history. This is the story of a Creole artist in the mid-19th century, an artist who designed one of the most distinctive features in the St. Louis Cathedral. Christopher Leach has the story.
Around 1825, a Creole baby was born enslaved in New Orleans to a German merchant and real estate inspector father, an enslaved Cuban mother whose family migrated to Cuba after the Haitian Revolution. The baby would become saturated in the rich culture of New Orleans. His name was Eugene Warburg, and he was to become an artist.
He really came to prominence in 1852 when he designed a piece that was raffled based on Greek mythology, Ganymede presenting a cup of nectar to the Greek god Jupiter, a very ambitious subject for a man who was not even 30 years old at that time.
Arguably, the most iconic images of New Orleans are ones that depict the Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis, King of France. In 1851, the cathedral was undergoing an expansion, and Eugene submitted a design to redo the flooring.
a proposal that Eugene Warburg sent to the Restoration Committee, where he sketched the black and white tile design that is still in the cathedral.
Eugene and his brother Daniel had a studio at what was once 89 St. Peter Street. Their second studio would be off of Basin Street. But in time, Eugene was on a ship to Europe to refine his artistic prowess, and this is a letter requesting Eugene's accommodations in Paris, France. And soon, the Duchess of Sutherland commissions Eugene to do a relief series based on Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin.
There are thumbprints that have been left by people of color all over the place.
In 1859, Eugene was in Rome, suffering from what might have been the flu. He would never recover.
What I like about Eugene Warburg's story is his unyielding search for freedom to pursue his art form, whose work was hampered by racial conditions at that time.
Christopher Leach, WGNO News.
Well, the highly anticipated matchup between LSU and South Carolina didn't go as planned for the Lady Tigers. We have highlights and a recap up next in Go Nation.
Now, Brendan Fairbairn from the Albertson Sports Desk with your Go Nation Sports.
LSU in South Carolina is a game Tiger fans have had circled on their calendar all year long. Well, today is the day LSU putting their undefeated record on the line against the defending national champs. But Don Saley and the Gamecocks don't lose at home, winning their last 68 games in the Life Arena. Mulkey still looking for her first win against South Carolina as the Tigers head coach. Late in the first, LSU up 20-15 off the turnover out to Flau'jae Johnson. She gets a free trip to the rim, drops in the layup. She finished with 13 points. LSU up by 7, which was their biggest lead of the game. Michaela Williams kicking it out to Flau'jae behind the arc. Money from deep ties the game at 27. Third quarter we go. Tigers trying to claw away at the lead. South Carolina clamping down on defense. Forces the turnover coast to coast. Easy too, but it doesn't stop there. Stills the inbound for a huge 4-point swing. That was the difference in this one. LSU finished with 17 turnovers. Can't do that against the defending champs. Tigers dropped their first game of the season 66-56. After the game, Mulkey said they will learn from this loss to prepare them for much bigger games down the road.
Well, let me tell you, I'm not into moral victories. So let's get that out there. We lost, but it was a good game. You talk about what each of them could have done better. You make them answer it. You get in the film room for a short period of time, and then you get back to work. This is not the biggest game of the year. Y'all might think it is, but it's not. The biggest game of the year is when you get to the playoffs, and you got to keep grinding.
Time for some Friday night heights. LSU back on the road for a top 25 showdown in Fayetteville. In the first rotation, LSU on bars, Connor McLean, highest score of the night, 9925. And remember, she tore her ACL 7 months ago, and she's already doing this. Now on vault, we say her name every Friday night. Kaylin Chio, the freshman, sticks a beautiful landing, scoring a meet high, 995. Over on the balance beam, Aaliyah Finnegan doing Aaliyah Finnegan things. Another impressive performance, 9925 score, also a meet high. The Tigers claimed event titles in 3 events, but it wasn't enough as the Razorbacks hand LSU their second loss of the season, falling by over 0.2 of a point. LSU missing Haley Bryant tonight in vault and bars. Hopefully she'll be back to full strength soon. Crossing over to the NFL, all of Louisiana will be Washington Commander fans come Sunday, rooting on former LSU Tiger Jaden Daniels as he tries to be the first rookie quarterback to lead his team to the big dance. He'll face a tough Philadelphia team on the road on Sunday for the NFC Championship. But the last time he played the Eagles, he threw for 5 touchdowns and completed a double-digit comeback win. Daniels and the Commanders are heavy underdogs, but he doesn't need that for any more motivation.
Me personally, I just, no matter if it's a home or away game, I treat it the same. It's always good to have everybody tries to write an underdog story, but for us, it's just we're just going out there and playing confident, we can compete against these guys, and that's a very good team. So there's nothing I take a little extra motivation. I'm already motivated to go into the game, regardless if it was week 2 or the NFC Championship game.
That's it for sports. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
You're watching Louisiana First News.
Welcome back, everyone. One more cold night, and then we're going to be dealing with some much warmer temperatures as we head through the weekend. 29 tonight for your overnight low, and then tomorrow afternoon, temperatures warming up into the upper 50s, maybe touching 60. That'd be nice. And then as we head towards the middle part of the week, we're looking at temperatures in the 70s. We do have a chance of showers late Sunday and Monday, but a better chance of rain as we go into the latter part of next week, especially Friday. And some of those storms could be heavy with some heavy rainfall. So at least we're headed in the right direction, right?
So we got rid of the Bayou Blizzard, and now we're bringing back the Bayou.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
Swampland coming
No more
back.
freezing temperatures, huh?
Yeah, I got to turn in my snow boots for the rain boots.
That's right.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. And don't forget, you can log on to LouisianaFirstNews.com for all your news, weather, and sports anytime. Have a great weekend.